right, well, thank you so much. I feel like I'm so far away from you, but I want to make sure I can use this microphone so you can hear me. I really appreciate the invitation to come and speak with you all. And the entertainment, live music is not something you get at all of the county parties across the state. So I think that we should give her a round of applause. But it really is, I'm thrilled to be here with you. And you know, Brian talked a little bit about my legislative career, and I have to tell you that after 14 years in the Michigan legislature, the last 4 of which I was the Democratic leader, and I don't use the phrase minority leader because I know the Democrats are not the minority in Michigan. I was the Democratic leader. But at the close of that, I really thought I'm going to go back to a private life, and I'll teach, and I will practice law, and I will go back to the private sector. And I found out real quick about myself, I have got no patience for bad management. I have got no patience for politicians who tell you one thing and do another. I've got no patience for people who try to minimize our expectations instead of fight for our aspirations in Michigan. I love the state of Michigan. I am proud to be from Michigan, but I'll tell you, the Michigan that my daughters are growing up in hardly resembles the one that I think of when I talk about my Michigan pride. You know, there was a point in time where Michigan public education was the finest in the world, where if you worked hard, you had the opportunity to make a good living, raise your family up, and retire with dignity, and also be able to afford to buy the car that you were making. There was a time when our roads were safe for your family to travel on, and if you had a business, you knew your product was going to get where it needed to be. And there was a time when we lived up to our motto, the Great Lakes State. And I look at the Michigan that my daughters are growing up in, that all of our kids are growing up in, that we're all living in. And I know they deserve better when it comes to their public education. And I also know it's no fault of the teachers that schools are struggling. We owe our teachers a debt of gratitude. We need to treat them like professionals. I look at the Michigan my kids are growing up in, and I see roads that look like they're turning back to gravel, and potholes that are ruining our cars every single day. I look at this Michigan, and I know that there are people who have been working their tails off for 10 years and haven't gotten a raise. That there are people who are working minimum wage paying jobs and they cannot pay their bills. I know that we deserve better, and I look at this state, the Great Lakes State, and there is still a city full of families that can't bathe their children, much less drink the water coming out of their faucets. And by God, we deserve better. Do you agree? So these problems in Michigan, they're big, you know, and they're urgent that we solve them. I am not a stranger to tough fights. You know, when I was in the legislature, I'll tell you, when the governor went after our right to collectively bargain and push through what he calls right to work, but what I call corporate servitude, I was the one that opened up the doors to the Capitol, and we led the protest from within my office. When these guys attacked our ability to just negotiate wages, to band together and demand fairness in a world that we see the difference between the people that are making money and the average person that growing and growing, where we can't even take care of our families. I know what it's like to take on those tough fights. But I also know what it's like to work with Republicans when, on occasion, they try to do the right thing. I rolled up my sleeves and worked with Governor Snyder to expand Medicaid here in Michigan. And we have 630,000 Michiganders who now have coverage who didn't before that. And I am darn proud of that. But we got a lot of work to do here in Michigan. I grew up, my whole life I spent in this state, in the Lansing area and on the west side in Grand Rapids. I was raised in a household with a Milliken Republican father and a Frank Kelly Democrat mother. And you know, that means we had some interesting conversations in our house. But at the end of the day, what I think was similar of Bill Milliken and Frank Kelly is that they were leaders who were trying to level the playing field for people. Who were always focused on trying to solve problems instead of benefit from problems continuing on. And I think now more than ever, that's the kind of leadership that we need in this state. We fight like hell when our values are on the line, but we negotiate where we can find common ground and improve people's lives in this state. I love Michigan. I am proud to be from Michigan, and I believe one of the most important lessons from this last election, and from the last 2 governor's races for that matter, is that you can't win an election just by beating up the other guy. You gotta fight for people's aspirations, and you gotta show up. That's why I'm spending so much time on this campaign. That's why I'm getting around the state. That's why I was in Battle Creek this morning. I'm here now, and I'm headed to Elk Rapids, because everyone in this state is important. We have to build this from the ground up again. We've signed up over 10,000 volunteers statewide. I've been now to, this is my 34th county, and I'm gonna get to every single one of them before this is over. Because everyone truly is important. It's time for us to take back this state. Time for us to make Michigan a leader. Time for us to demand that this is our Michigan. A Michigan where every kid can thrive. Where everyone who's willing to work has a real path to a better paying job so they can take care of their families. And a Michigan where at the end of the day, we know our leaders at the Capitol are looking out for us. Not the people that bankrolled their campaigns, not themselves, but for us, the people of Michigan. I want to work with you on this. If you are interested in getting involved in my campaign, I would love to work with you. I need a captain in every county. I would love to have many captains in every county. Jeremy's back there. Jeremy, wait. Jeremy's back there. Yeah, all right, let's clap for Jeremy. You first. Jeremy has petitions. We are in the petition signing phase of this campaign. If you are interested in helping us collect signatures, we need a certain percentage from every congressional district. If you'll help on that, it would be a great help. If you want to host an event or you want to get involved some way, let us know, because there is a spot for everyone who wants to be a part of this. I thank you for your time. I am thrilled to see this kind of a turnout in Clare County. It's what we're seeing all across the state. And I often give an example of an unexpected group of people that came together. You know, I went to the Upper Peninsula in February. All right, let that sink in. I went to the UP in February. I went to 11 out of 15 counties, and everywhere we went, we had people showing up who want to be involved, who are angry or anxious or afraid because of what's happening in Washington, D.C., and they want to be a part of something positive. That's what this governor's race represents for a lot of us. They showed up. We had in Houghton, Michigan, in February, in the Super 8, we had a potluck, and we had 250 people show up. We were packed wall to wall. And I tell people about that because we're seeing that all over this state. This is our time. 2018 is the time where we start setting the agenda again. And I hope we can do that together, because it's not about me. This is about us, and this is about our Michigan. So thank you so much.